I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one.
Hi everybody, it is Lori here. Let me introduce myself. I am from Missouri, and yeah, I'm a Midwesterner. So a couple years ago, we actually went to the northeastern states. We went to like 8 different ones, and in particular, our main goal was to get to Niagara Falls. And so Niagara Falls was our destination, but we went through all these other states and all these other different places, and I just wanted to particularly kind of comment more on New York City, my perspective as a Midwesterner. And I thought I'd kind of point them out and some things that I kind of noticed that stood out to me. And yeah, so I thought I'd go over those things because definitely I think there were some things that did surprise me overall. The first thing is that you guys have a lot of cemeteries. Yeah, there were a lot of cemeteries everywhere. I guess I should have expected this because of, I don't know why I should have expected that, but I did see that. There are a lot of cemeteries up in the northeastern states. A lot. You guys have been burying a lot of people. So, but they're very beautiful though. Very, very beautiful cemeteries. One of the things I think a lot of people, if you don't live anywhere in New York City, is you just expect to see the Statue of Liberty right away, and we didn't see the Statue of Liberty. In fact, I think we, once we were getting outside of the city and going a different direction, is when we actually were able to kind of get a glimpse of the Statue of Liberty. So yeah, so that's something that kind of surprised me, that you just didn't see that right away. So New York City is huge, and so I think we could go there 1,000 times and still not even see a fourth of the city. So yeah, so that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's kind of naive or silly to think that you're going to see it right away, but yeah, so that's something that kind of surprised me. Another thing is you guys have, and not maybe necessarily in New York City per se, but just in the northeastern states, a lot of Dunkin Donuts. What's up with the Dunkin Donuts? I don't like Dunkin Donuts. No offense, Dunkin Donuts. I just don't like Dunkin Donuts. And so, yeah, there's really a thing about that. I'm not sure what that is, but there's... Another thing, tolls everywhere. I had no idea how many tolls that there were going to be, and they're expensive. These tolls are expensive. In the Midwest, we do have toll roads, but not nearly as many as you guys do. It's just crazy how many tolls. And if you miss your toll, I don't know, maybe we did it wrong, but we missed our turn, and we had to turn back around, get back on, and they charged us again. We explained to them the situation. Nope, you gotta still get charged. And so it was a little frustrating, but yeah, I mean, be prepared for that, for a lot of tolls, because you're going to get tolled up. This is kind of maybe not right in New York City, but kind of like in New Jersey and places like that. The exits are they're different. You could almost miss them because it looks like it kind of winds off into like, and you got these shrubbery that are kind of like hiding it a bit. In Missouri and Kansas, I mean, there are turns like that, but it's not quite like that. You have bridges where you can kind of see that, hey, this exit goes off into this road. It just seems a little different in the northeastern states. It's almost kind of like, yeah, you could miss it really easily. So
Lord knows that I've tried to.
the next thing that kind of surprised me is I've had this fascination with watching YouTube videos on New York apartments. I don't know what the deal is, but I just love watching them, and I think it's just kind of the feeling of like minimalism a little bit. Here in Missouri, we pay probably about $2,500 for our mortgage, and it's about 3,000 square foot. It's a very nice house, has a lot of different things, and that's not including, that square footage is not including our basement. Now, the videos that I've been watching, I mean, people have houses that are, my room is very big. You can't see the entire room right now, but it's very, very big. And people have not even like a fraction of my room that are paying sometimes, you know, way more than I'm paying for my house. And that's not a surprise. Everyone knows that Midwestern states a lot of times have great prices on houses and things like that. But I just think that it really, the lifestyle is really different. When it comes to, I think people are really paying, they're not so much worried about how much they're paying for where they're living, but more just the fact that they're paying for that lifestyle and that experience. And I think that's kind of cool. And I really, really like the idea of that, you know, you're paying for just the experience and all that. So, but yeah, that's a big difference, I think. Obviously, that's not something necessarily that we went like apartment hunting or anything like that, but that's something that I've learned what the difference is. Another thing that I thought was really kind of cool is Central Park. Central Park is it's like its own city. It really is. It's like kind of was like an epiphany for me, actually, is that in the Midwest we have our backyards, we have our front yards, we have nature and parks everywhere. And it just feels like, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it just feels like people almost appreciate the park. It was so lively, and I don't even think it was on a weekend, but everything was so lively there, and there were so many people playing, and you could just tell that like it was maybe something that they didn't have a lot of, and so it was like a special trip to go to Central Park. And so it just made me kind of think of like, wow, you know, these people don't have backyards and they don't have front yards, and maybe some people do if you're really rich, but yeah, they really just seem to appreciate the nature, the piece of nature that was set apart away from the city. So I thought that was really a cool thing that it just like popped in my head, even though I was aware of that, but it was really just seeing how people like just seemed to live and appreciate it. It seemed like it just came off like that. Another thing is, and this is something that I think you hear as a kind of a stereotypical type thing about New Yorkers, that they're minding their own business and they're going in Midwest. And people give off the impression that New Yorkers are going to be rude to you. And you'll hear people say things like, "Oh, Midwesterners are so much nicer than the Northeast states. Midwesterners are so nice and so kind, and things are slower," and that may be true to some extent, but you're kind of walking in, you kind of expect the way that people are going to treat you, and I could see how people are talking, everyone's kind of minding their business, doing their own things, but I had so many people that actually just would like sit there and talk to us, and it was like, wow, I didn't expect that. I mean, people were super nice, and the personality there, like the accents are like amazing. Like, this is like my favorite type of accent in the entire, I love a Boston accent, I love New York accent, and there's so much variety in that too, so like I love hearing that, and just talking with people, there's just like an aura, like I don't know, there's just something about the people there, and I hate to judge off like a few people, but I don't know, maybe because my expectation of having any kind of like real interaction with people was kind of lower. When it actually happened, I was like, oh wow, okay, this is a little different than what I expected. And it happened more than once. It actually happened several times. And overall, people were really, I mean, they're straightforward. I like that though. I like when people are straightforward, but there's still like a warm and fuzziness to them, even though, you know, you hear people saying, oh, everyone's on their guard. That's just human nature, I think. It's like, when there's so many people, you're going to be focused on what you're doing, so. Everything's expensive. That was not a surprise to us at all. But there is, there's also, the nice thing is I feel like there's a lot of cheap options too. And that was just something that like I think a lot of people miss, is they think everything's expensive, but then like, I know this isn't New York City, but we had went somewhere in Philadelphia where you get like a $2 huge slice of pizza. There's always going to be expensive things, but there's also cheap things as well. And there's lots of things to do. I wanted to add one more thing that I was not aware of and was kind of surprising to me. You have these characters in New York City. I don't know if other cities have this as well. I'm sure they do. They come up to you. They come up to your kid. It's just kind of scary by itself. But they come up to you. And of course your kid is intrigued because, well, it's a cartoon character. And then they're like, let's take a picture. Let's take a picture. And then after you get this picture taken, then they want money for that. So that was something you have to definitely be aware of. And it was new to us. It was kind of interesting. Yeah, so beware of that. Yeah, so those are my basic thoughts on New York, specifically New York City, and I do appreciate you watching, but those are just some things I thought it'd be kind of interesting to go over, some different things that I thought about the, yeah, a Midwesterner's experience in New York. Alright, stay tuned guys, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of video, and also subscribe. Thanks so much guys.